Hello and welcome, as it is the 20th day of December 2018. And given when I look at my portfolio, Bitcoin, Litecoin is really the large bulk compared to my next largest coin, which would be XBY. Big differential from the number 2, which is Bitcoin actually, to XBY. And then a big differential from the number 3 to number 4, which is Ethereum. I have a lot more Bitcoin than I do XBY, and I have a lot more XBY than I do with Ethereum, and I have a lot more Ethereum than any other coin below that. Or I have noticeably more on that section. Regardless, I'm going to look at Cryptopia, which within such has an exchange against Bitcoin, the US dollar tether, the New Zealand dollar tether, Litecoin, and the Doji coin. I'm in a few of these coins, including coins like Smart, Komodo, Neo. Probably should be in ZEC, but I'm not. But that wallet is usually down as it is. However, I'm in a bunch of other ones, but I'm not in Uno. And when we take a look at the chart, this is just, we got 2 days here, which spans 2 days of time. Each period's the 1 hour. If we just move it in here, we can see how this thing is moving. But even in the last week, it's went from over a 3 basis point handle. I can see 3 and a dime. And then this low in here comes in at 244. So it's a differential of even 20% just in that time frame there. Over 2 weeks, we can see more of its move. I mean, there's not much you could really trade overall in that time, but its actual move from this point is pretty good. 3-month chart or 3-month time frame. It's got some overall movement towards it. 6-month, we can see a decent amount more. And if we scroll this back to this period here, I'm going to remove the volume because then I can see things a little bit better, the lines and so forth. And it's just start from back here. Obviously, trading markets that go up is always easier. That should just go without saying. But in situation here, if you were to enter in a market going from 110 down to 80, given my volatility, that might mean I buy once. And then as it goes up, do I sell at 1? You know what? Oftentimes, maybe, maybe not. It takes small volatility to sell here, buy back there. And then as far as these types of lines, which it has really been lacking any good ones thus far, and they can happen at any time. This doesn't trade at high volume, so it's always, and I haven't looked at the order book. I'm going to do so after I'm done to see, oh, what's the potential of having one of these decent sized lines to the upside or downside. But when this thing goes from 80 up to 175, it has at least had a 2x mode, where you'd generally be doing mostly selling. If you were able to sell near this top in here, which would be at $1.29 or 129, it only comes back to like in here. What's the low? We got like 1.0 change. So there's really not much overall volatility, but the markets again continue to go up. So from 0.8 to deuce, and now it's having an okay pullback, but it's went from a little over 2 to a low of that of a 1.7. So we're only looking at like a 17% pullback on that retracement, but a decent size but okay move here. Nothing, I mean, it looks, I mean, the best it has from July 2nd to August the 3rd, a month time, is a low of like $1.7 or 1.7 and a high of 2.2. 5 divided by 17, which is what the volatility would be, that would be probably around 0.29ish. So they're not getting the largest amount of volatilities. It goes up to well, obviously, look at the high number, 2.8. So 80 to 280. Overall, that would be like a 3.5 times move. So when you look after the fact, there wouldn't be too many trades overall, but everything does work out good. You'd buy at the start, sell everything, and now if your last sell order is 280, in the position how I'd be playing, you have a buy order at 240 or 235. And really, if you were selling in here at, say, 145, you'd be having buy orders all the way down to even like well below the one handle. Like how many of them would come through during this downtrend? Well, we can see here it goes down below a buck or 1.75, goes down some more to like not much, less than 1.5. And then you have this stuff here where it doesn't even trade for, and this is a half-day chart. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 4.5 days it doesn't trade. Has this just a quick one overall, like week, almost a week, where it does nothing, and overall for the entire time it's not doing much at all. At the key bottom, it would go down to, so you'd have buy orders like go down to 115. So as a lot of the selling was going on, you're getting some of the buys. It's taking at this stage, you got it rallying early June. We got this upper time frame middle of October. So this is 4 months where you might have 2 or 3 sell orders, and then following that with like 2 or 3 more buy orders, at least given my work on the volatility. And then all the stuff in which you bought, you've been able to resell. Maybe what you've sold at the top, if you were able to do so, if you sell near even numbers, and 295, 297 area definitely got hit. Maybe you're able to buy back, but maybe your last sell order was like, say, 2.7, and now you're waiting to sell at 325, so that hasn't hit. You're not going to be buying down here. But regardless of the fact, markets like this, long-term game, there's nothing wrong with having to wait a decent amount of time to, okay, sell, okay, a little bit here, goes up for 2 months or whatever, and you get like 2 or 3 sell orders. These type of movement is unfortunate. Let's see if I can find another coin on here that I'm kind of interested to see. Do I want to get into it? Because I'm not into this coin. I'm trying to find maybe some I might be interested in playing. Here's Lux coin, which has been pretty much down all year, but I mean the crypto space has been down all year as well. Earlier on, you had these nice little wicks, these moves that got pretty high. As far as its volatility, it has decent sized movements. What's the low in here? We got a little over 0.04. We got a high near 0.08. So again, it's going to take time to fill some of these sell orders in, but there's really no buying from point low to point high here in between, but buy some back here, sell a bit. All of the selling you do from June to July gets bought back into the low in August. If we take some of the scroll back, some of the data we've already went through, we can see here that we had one of these types of days if you're in it. This is why I want to play the market, is for stuff like this, because here you are. If we look at the numbers in here, and I'm going to just try to increase the size of the font, and as I do it, I'm not able to scroll too well, which is interesting. But regardless of the fact, I can see just purely on the numbers based that it goes from a little under 0.4 to what looks like about 0.68, 0.7. Either way, it's a 70% move. So 2 sell orders for me would get hit. You can buy it back immediately, hit a sell order here, buy down here maybe. Then you have this little one here to get your sell order, buy all the way down up until October, sell all through October, and then ever since it's been buying. Okay, decent sized volatility overall, but something I've been worth considering as well. And while I'm at it, I'm back to Uno, and I want to take a look at the order book because I thought it was something I mentioned from before. We look at sell orders. What I want to look at is the sum of how many Litecoin within the price. So we can see the current sell orders are at 265, and it takes 14 Litecoin to bring it to 3, which isn't that much. Then we get to 20, 30 to bring it to still into 3. 73 brings it to 8. And 180 brings it to 16.7. As a trader, I say that a lot, but if I'm in this, there's a good chance I'm going to put an ask or a sell order in at around somewhere below 1671 anyway. But it only takes 80 Litecoin to bring the price from to 16, which would be about a 6 or so times move. And that's why these things happen when you get the wicks come into place. Somebody has those large amounts of Litecoin and they buy it, whether it be by accident, which is like fat finger, and I've made these mistakes like that where it's like, ooh, interesting, like I can see how people do it, or just by, and I'm going to say quote unquote, as sports books refer to gamblers who lose, the squares. But I like to call it the Joes versus the pros. And that's somebody else who stated that. I just copy what another person's reference. Yeah, pros versus Joes. Joes are your everyday people. They're the ones that usually don't do so well. They're the not as good as the pros, of course. The pros are the top in the business. So the pros aren't going to make the mistake and buy this up to 18. It's just not going to happen. But a Joe might. And the same can be said as far as the downside. Let's take a look. How many Litecoins does it take? Well, it's 57 in total. But that's not really the number I'm looking for. It's how many. I mean, where does the big Litecoin come in? I can't see the total amount of Unos. That's what I'm looking for, mostly amongst such. But we got 2.5 as the price. For now, I'll use Litecoin as a key number. Do we see this number get bigger anywhere? It gets to 6 here at 222. So as a trader, I might just go 2.222222 as a buy order if I wanted to buy in that general area, depending, of course, what I see below here. But we can see it takes 13 Litecoin to bring it to 191. So another place, maybe 192, I might put a buy order in. And we continue lower, 22 Litecoin bringing it to 166. And then 9.6 Unos, followed by 3.5 at 116. So right there, if you want to talk about where you put a buy order in, how about 117 or 120? 1.25, something in that area. Because is there going to be what they call that fat finger typo? Someone's got dozens of these things and they accidentally sell it down, or again they make the mistake, and why are you selling it down to $1.16 when it's worth twice that much? And you can just sell it on the Bitcoin exchange. You can transfer it to another exchange with higher volume and sell it that way. Well, that's what the pros would do if they wanted to get out. Not a Joe, but these moves happen again by mistake, and even some pros might accidentally have that fat finger, especially because they might be high liquid, that they're the ones that are able to buy or sell these markets down. But we can see below those big numbers there, there's 9 and 3.5, and there's one more here, a bunch of decimals at this stage, and there's 13 at 0.39, which is makes no sense that it's lower than the point. That's never mind. I'm thinking of square. Yeah, so 0.4. So if you have a whole bunch, and again, that's another place to put a buy order, 0.4. That would bring it down like 5x. And if someone big coin does that, that's why we see some of those moves. Let's move on to another one. And let's put it in coin. I haven't owned it in I don't know how long. It's been probably close to a year since I've had game credits. It's been down for quite some time, but when we take a look at this, they hardly move within this. And then the volume, it makes it hard to see these lines. That's why I got it. If I take this off, it becomes easier to see. So a much less liquid order book is going to be the case here. And when we look at it, sell orders. This is why a lot of these codes I really don't like to play, because the stakes really are kind of low. When it takes 1.25 Litecoin to move the price from 32 to 72. And then you continue on. This is just like a very much an illiquid book. And now that we can look at the price differential, we got an ask price or a sell order at 32, and we got a bid or a buy order at 24. So markets like this with spreads like that, I mean, there's a strategy just trying to be at the top end of this thing. Maybe you try to sell it at 24 if you get, or excuse me, put a buy order at 24 if you get hit. Then maybe you try to put a sell order at 32. But it's not a fun game trying to do it, because not only do you have to wait for someone to actually do such, but we can see these numbers are changing. There's automated bots that are going to go ahead of you. There's nothing you can do about that. And if somebody happened, I mean, one way of doing it is hope someone comes in big, say screw, or just not play the bots and just put your buy orders in. Okay, well, or in this case, yes, where would you put a nice little aggressive buy order? I mean, the whole thing is illiquid. Literally, I mean, there's like not much at all. There's not down to like 200. I mean, you can put buy orders in and just try to get lucky here. You got 23.8. Or let's just even a $250,000 for that matter, just to make it easy, because these numbers go down. Then at 181, you got 255 for order or for available. A few hundreds in here around 80,000 down to 40,000. 1,300 at 15,000, and then if many hundreds in the going down to 3,000. So you can put orders in at like 500,000, 4,000, and if they hit, they hit. And some might even say that if you're going to hold Litecoin and you don't mind having them on the exchange, then put your buy orders in there, and then if you ever need them for whatever reason later on, you can always delete them. But if they happen to hit, then you're going to be able to sell them immediately. And if they don't, again, you can just get the orders out anytime you want, or remove them and delete them anytime. Now this is an interesting one here. It's called Inflation Coin. I never even knew what the name was. Only reason I'm putting this up because first I noticed it's 6 Satoshi. So, and then the second thing is it's got decent movement to it. So heck, that's all I've seen right now. I can see down below here that, and this is where they stopped trading, that it was a little bit lower 1 year chart. I mean, I don't know, within the higher font I can't push this out, but regardless of the fact, we can see something that goes from 30 and change down to 6. So any selling you did up here, obviously buying, and you haven't been able to sell anything you've bought since it started falling in September. Will this go up? Maybe. But when you look at the Litecoin price, what's always important within this market is Bitcoin divided by Litecoin, which is about 1.25 right now. And this is significantly lower than 1 Satoshi. It's 125 divided by 6. So it's about 40 times lower than 1 Satoshi of the Bitcoin price. That's how cheap this coin is. And if you want to own millions of a coin and you don't have that much Bitcoin, well, this is there's 2 Satoshi coins on this as well. And you can look the Doge market. And now that I say that, I want to see what the cheapest coin available on here is. And this is already a long video. As far as its order book is concerned, I mean, you got these lower numbers, which makes it a little bit easier that way if you want to trade a market like this, because you can, at least there's decent size number movement. There's the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on and so forth. So now we're going to get the 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and there's not even a 6. Maybe you try to put a buy order in at the 6 if you wish. I guess the last thing that happened was a sell order of 6. It's the only thing that makes sense. But that's what the cheap one looks like. Let me see if I can find the cheapest market on here. And to do that, I'm going to go to the Doge market, and I'm going to sort this by last price. So Ethereum is 42,000. Oh my goodness. DApps is 0.03 against Doge. Oh no, that makes sense. I'm looking for a Satoshi like 7,011, like 2611 Ember, I think it's called. What's the cheapest on here? 26.11. So this looks like the cheapest coin that there would be. It was over 20,000. This, okay, that's just what it happens to be. Market, okay, I want to read this. Market closing December 21st, 2018. That's like tomorrow, or it's already today in Europe and New Zealand. Ember Coin is in the process of being delisted. Man, that sucks. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. From Cryptopia. And trade markets are now closed. Please cancel all open orders and withdraw any EMB balances to a compatible wallet at your earliest convenience. EMB will be fully delisted on the 21st of January 2019. And then just a bunch of other words there that's not worth me saying. Well, now that I say this, my best guess now, obviously being jokingly and sarcastic, is this coin is probably going to be, within the next 4 months to 4 years, the new reserve currency of the world. It's going to take over the US dollar. Unfortunately, you can't buy it here now, but I guess, I mean, that's just going too far. So here's a situation of basically a coin getting destroyed. Surprisingly, though, it was over 20,000 in July, and it closed with the last trade at 26.11. So it only went down like 9 times. I mean, considering that this coin could go to 200 Satoshi and 50 Satoshi, it could have got hit even worse. I'm going to finish this off by going to CoinMarketCap actually and taking a look at this coin there, and that'll be the end of the video. And one thing that just catches my eyes right now, this is the first time I've seen this number over 2,000. That's how many currencies are. Ember Coin is in at 7.03E/8 USD, down 10.10%. Let's put this in log scale. I don't need US dollar. So this thing was trading at 11 Satoshi against Bitcoin. And then it pretty much goes to, well, nothing, I guess. So that's the highest it ever got to, according to this, was such. And thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. And I don't know, I think it's got no chance of ever becoming the world reserve currency, that being Ember Coin. Bye-bye.